Hello and welcome. Today is the 22nd day of October 2016. Welcome to the Silver Charts channel. And this weekly chart, interesting to say the least, as last week, the week before, was 3% volatility and a very small volatile session which followed from before a large down move. And this week was an inside week of all things. And that is really shocking, as volatility wasn't there before. Usually on a lower volatile session you would expect to at least make a higher high and or a lower low from its previous point, but no. And I've done some research to go over the 2-week periods of low volatility, and I'll go over that after I'm done this analysis. But for the most part, it's right in at the middle of this 50% retracement level. I don't talk much about the 50% points, but I will in here. And it's not really 50%. It's 50% from these two numbers, the 15 and the 23, but in the middle area of the key points. And the high in here is under 18. So if a break above 18 comes in, as I've been stating on the daily chart, this previous support level and at 18.5 would be where I would think it would go off next. And this low is around 1711. So if you see it around 1703, 1705 area, decent chance it's going to move towards this level. That's 16 2/3, but even 16.5 as well as key support points. But there's really not much more I could say just by this move here. After a big down plunge and the two sideways action, it's more likely to go up or down, because I really can't say either way because I don't really know. And finally, as far as stats is concerned, what I did is I took volatility for 2 weeks. So this week and the previous week for every single example, and I put it in 4 different categories. Weeks in which had under 2.97% volatility for 2 consecutive weeks, and then from that number to 8%, 8% to 15%, and 15%, starting off from January 25th, 91 to 2002. And the reason I'm using the splits of this time is because the 3% volatility over the last 2 weeks was the lowest going back to 2004, which was actually 2.99%. And then in 2002, it was well below that. So this is pretty much the lowest 2-week volatility it's had since July 5th, 2002. Let me just help make these numbers more clear. And that about 165 times, it just did nothing for 2 consecutive weeks in a 598-week time frame. And I think a lot of the reason for that was because after the 1980 top, the market sold off down to really the $4 to $6 range. Really couldn't get much below 3.5. And it didn't take them long to get it there. It only took them a half a decade or so. And by 1991, it had already been suppressed to all of those large low levels that they couldn't go $3 or $2 or $1 or a nickel. They just can't go that low because it's got real tangible value, and prices will go way under value and overvalue, but there's only so high and so low it can go. And that's why there was a lot of these low volatile sessions. Now this data, there could have been a period where my data says 1 week the high was $4.25, and maybe it was $4.28. It's a lot harder to get more accurate data from this point. So maybe it wasn't 165, maybe it was like 80. But the whole point is there was a lot of low volatile days, and compare it to in here, only 10 times it had 2 weeks of over 15%, where recently 104. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.